Howdy folks. So today, in a bit of a procrastinating mood, because I'm supposed to be working on this Iridium and fixing this MIDI stuff, and you know, I'm going to get to that, but I was just watching this vid of Paul David's, the super swanky looking dude who's always doing nice, beautiful vids. And he was talking about a Yamaha Transacoustic, which has this funky, magical stuff built in. And that got me thinking, because I had this Tonewood amp forever and ever and ever, amen. I'll show you what that is. I've stuck this massive cable on to exaggerate the fact, but this here, as you can see that, is a detachable, battery-powered, magnetized gizmo. Which makes a lot of noise, and it's got this little nipple thing here, which sticks onto the body. In here, there's a big X-brace with super strong magnets that you take off the strings, put in there. It's in there, but you're not going to see it. Gently apply that. It'll feed back for a sec, and then you can hear that, but that vibrates the entire sound hole. I think it's on delay right now, but you can do funky things with this thing. Trim the delay. And it takes a bit of fiddling with. You gotta get the gain on it set right and the other stuff. I mean, normally it just works, but you gotta fiddle with it. I think there's something else going on with this guitar of mine that it's all coming out of here. Back in the day, I did a lot of research on this stuff. This was my first dab at guitar effects and stuff like that. It's a buddy of mine from England came here, and he's like, well, why don't you just play with, acoustics and stop messing with this electric nonsense and all these toys. It was well before any of this stuff turned up. And I looked at this thing, and this other guy, Mike Dawes, who's a cousin of a guy I went to school with in Bermuda, this dude, Mark Nash. It's his cousin. I thought, wow, that's a good connection. So I started looking into this thing, got one. And it's pretty incredible. And I've done a couple of trips with it, where I was playing with another gizmo-y type thing, not a traditional boom electric guitar like this one, but it's the Yamaha Silent, which has some built-in effects. But of course it's silent and has holes in it, and you have to plug it into something to hear it, or earphones or whatever. But this is why you do not plug in a massive cable. Anyway, I was thinking about this, because that's really what I love with these things. For the most part, turn this damn thing off. Looking at taking a guitar and getting the most out of it. That's where the whole MIDI madness thing starts from. Take this one, Barax. Looks like a normal guitar, but it has little piezo's mounted here in the bridge, and you can turn this thing on. This is P91. Awesome. And what this thing does is another trick. It has a battery in it. You can turn it on. Looks like a regular guitar, acts like a regular guitar, but if you turn it on, these talk to a little brain inside here, processing power of about 2 iPhone 4S's from back in the day, 2014 or 12 or 13 these things came out. And your one guitar becomes 60. Awesome. From there, I went absolutely nuts with these things and started really messing around, because my goal is always to carry one guitar. Not that I want to be limited to one, but when I'm traveling, you can't have more than one. It's just the way it is. You know, going through airports and all that, you gotta have one. So this was my dream guitar for a long time. That one over yonder, it's sticking up with the knife blade there. That's a different Variax. There's 3 or 4 of them. And if those Line 6 guys are listening, give me my Revstar, please. My Revstariax. But anyway, next evolution was the, hold it. There we go. Same one. And this thing, I'm not going to demonstrate these things. You see plenty of videos of mine that go nuts on these things. But that uses a form of IR goody goblins fungitivity magic thing to take any guitar, including this one with magnetics, and it will make it into 99 other guitars. And it's a profiler, so like a Kemper, you can sit there with it and go 6 times, and so on and so forth. You profile it. You basically take the attack, sustain, decay of a note, and it samples all that in, does a whole bunch of funky math, and spits out the other side. Well, it saves it. That becomes a, what's the word? Target profile, or a source profile. Profile is a profile. All of them are the same. You just go through this thing, run through a bunch of notes in a 2-minute period, and that saves the guitar. Same way Kemper does with an amp. Send out a bunch of pips and pops and stuff, and then extrapolates it, puts it back together, and so one thing sounds like another thing. It's not the same as EQ. It's a much more involved process. That's a Kemper for guitars, so I can steal the soul of this one, save it in the box, call up somebody else and say, hey, check this guitar. Send it to them across the internet. They can load it in theirs, and presto bingo, they're playing my guitar. It's an amazing, amazing, amazing thing. But Paul Davids raises a good question. Are these all just gimmicks or what? I think new. Wouldn't it be great if you could have as many guitars as you wanted? I mean, I've certainly bought a whole bunch of them, and there are physicalities to each and every one of them that make them special. There are backstories to each and every one of them that make them very special. But kind of like modelers, all this nonsense here, and the discussion of using actual amps, it's a crap one, or using these to replicate other amps. Think of it like this, because this is how I really like to think of it. And maybe this is something we could open up for a debate with my boy Aaron Short and all the rest. He did a great show yesterday. These things for me are sort of like, you know, you go and test drive a car. These are like a device for test driving other gear, but from home. And that's a great context to put these things in, because half the time when you're researching these things, you can read all you want about it. Until you're actually playing it, you're not going to know. But if you can get a really good sample of what it can do for you, Glenn DeLone's patches, he does a whole bunch of stuff where he's doing the same IR thing, creating his own IRs of very specific amps or specific acoustic guitars, and popping them into presets, which you can go and buy from him for relatively next to nothing. Stick it in your old Helix and get an idea, like a good idea, because you can't go into a shop and sit down and play the thing and make a decision in 15-20 minutes or half an hour. And you certainly can't go and live in a shop for a month and decide. So if you have a thrilling want to go out and discover new stuff and see how it interacts with the whole modeling thing. For me, is really great. It's something that I would encourage anyone to consider. Forget the purism and, is it better or worse or whatever. What it does for you is it opens up a huge world of possibilities where you can get out there and mix and match things on the fly from the comfort of your studio, and will give you clues as to the direction that you may want to go in looking for sounds or looking for effects. Now, getting back to modeling guitars, yeah, you can't do everything with it. Obviously, this will have its own characteristics, but that is also a really good thing, because say you find a neck that you really like. This is a through neck one piece thing, and it vibrates the way I want. The way it's set up is the way I like it. And there are a lot of guitars out there where one tiny thing, width of this or the headstock width or depth of that, may mess with you. Seriously mess with you, but there will be 30 other things on the guitar that you love, like the pickups you'll really love. Or maybe you don't have a whammy bar like this one and you really want a whammy bar. Well, I can suck the soul out of this with a Sim one, and I can go and play it on that other guitar over there that does have a whammy bar. Problem solved. So, I don't know, I think that would be a really cool thing for discussion, to see what Aaron says about it. But, contrary to what my boy Chad Husky says all the time, these things save you from going out and wasting a lot searching for guitars and looking for stuff like that. I think that needs discipline, but what do you think? Comment below, like and subscribe to the channel and stuff like that, because we do all kinds of funky stuff. But for once, I thought today I would leave the MIDI alone and I'd talk about the stuff that really, really interests me. And the physical guitar is a lovely thing. Wouldn't it be great if you could have as many as you wanted, or you could always just pull one out? My experimentation between Variaxes, Sim 1s, Ariander, and stuff like this, the old Tonewood amp, have given me a lot of satisfaction over the years, and they kind of plug a massive hole, because when I'm out and about or go for a weekend somewhere, or whenever I really have time to sit down and play, it's usually because I'm not at home, I'm off somewhere with friends and not working, and that's the only time you get to do these things. So, I don't know, I think it's pretty cool. Would be great, like, subscribe, again, do all that kind of stuff, and let me know what you think. Put the comments in. I'm not sure if I should put this in the MIDI Mad Scientist Club, because this has nothing to do with MIDI, but it is certainly mad science, so I'll stick it over there and we'll see what happens. But have a great day, y'all. I might actually get on with some work now. See ya.